White men are the mental health problem in this country. Jim Crow, white men. Slavery, white men. Segregation, white men. Concentration camps for Asian Americans in the late 30s and early 40s. 1,800 people died. How many black people were hung from trees? 8,000. Let me guess. Oh yeah, once again, white men. The gun violence? 98% are men. 84% are white men. U.S. citizens. I see a trend. How about the Middle Passage where 1.2 African Americans died? Oh yeah, once again, white men. Why was the Second Amendment written? Let me think. So black people couldn't have their freedoms. So the white men could once again control them. Who's in the White House? An adjudicated rapist, convicted felon white man. Wow, I see a trend. But somehow Americans are just begging to blame a trans person, a non-white person. See, what happened to George Floyd is symbolic of what's happening in this country. The white man putting his knee on the neck of a non-white person and sitting there in broad daylight with the balls to say, who's going to stop me? And that's what we're seeing right now. So that's the question that we need to ask ourselves as a fucking country. Who's going to stop them? Because I'm just one person here. Now, I don't know about you, but I got friends and family that are sitting behind the white privilege, and I want nothing to do with them. Not because of who they are, because their lack of action. Martin Luther King said, history is going to remember not the people that did bad things, but the good people that stood by and did nothing. Because once again, the white man is hiding behind their privilege while everybody else is getting treated like absolute fucking garbage. Because it doesn't affect me. You don't even want to go on a general strike to stop fascism. Oh, I can't work. Oh, I got a job. White man is the mental health crisis in the United States of America. It has been since day one. When you look at the majority of them, what do you see? A bunch of insecure little wannabe alpha males with small penises that need big trucks and guns to feel like a real man. That's the real problem, is toxic masculinity. That the white man feels unable to shit on everyone's rights just because of how they look. It's ironic, isn't it, that they demonize black people because they're black on the outside, and yet their hearts are black on the inside. Isn't that ironic? And every single time we see a mass shooting, they're just salivating on the white supremacist red hatters to say, oh my gosh, it was an immigrant, it was a trans person, it was a gay people. 84% of gun violence is white men. But when it happens, like at the church the other day, what happens? Oh, thoughts and prayers. But what happened with the racist podcaster? Oh, they were just dying for it to be somebody on the left so they can just blame somebody else. A white man. The Catholic, the church yesterday, a white man. A white man, a white man, a white man, a white man. Ahmaud Arbery, guess what? 3 white men that chased out a black guy. Breonna Taylor, oh, a white cop. Again, and again, and again, and again, and again. It's the same demographic. White men are the problem in this fucking country. And until we address the real mental health epidemic, which is white supremacy, built on white men controlling people, because that's how this country was designed. For 21-year-old landowning white men to shit on everybody else. This country was designed to benefit my demographic, and that is not okay. That is the original sin of this country. And until we address it, we will never be a great country, and we haven't been a great country. And if you don't like that, then you can ship.
A lot of people are asking, why are the white people miserable? Why are they angry? Why are they unhappy? And of course, a lot of people have come out to say one or two things that is the cause for that. But I feel strongly because there is an expectation that has been raised. When the bar has been raised so high that the white people are this, the white people are superior, the white people are the best, white people are, and when they come into the real world and they find out that it's not actually true, sometimes with all that they've got, connections, good job, good house, opportunities, grants, and all that, they find that all of that does not really add up to what they need. Yet, you see that the crime rate, major crimes that are happening, is still being done by them. Now, the question is, what is happening? Why are they miserable? Why are they unhappy? Why are things going this way? There's an expectation they have and they're not getting it. Or when they come into the real world, what they are seeing does not correspond with what they've been told while growing up. Could this be the reason why? Guys, let's go check out a couple of videos that I've put together for you so you can watch. Please watch from the beginning till the end. because that will form the basis upon which we're going to be interacting tonight. We're going to be talking based on what we've watched, and that will be the foundation of our interaction. So please do me a favor, subscribe to this channel if you love this great content, and give this video a thumbs up, and do it to share this video if you love this great content. Credits are given to all content in this video. I'll be right back. Let's go watch it.
I'm sorry if you think it's too early to politicize what happened in Georgia yesterday, but I will not allow the NRA to dictate how I talk about this issue that is impacting all of us. The majority of school blank and mass blank that are happening across this country are being committed by white boys. So let me ask you this. If you're a parent, white women, what are we doing? Because this year, in April, I got married, and in doing so, became a bonus mom of 2 beautiful little boys. And I have to tell you, every day we're combating messaging. Every day we're working on sharing emotions, expressing anger. We're working on things as parents to ensure that we are raising emotionally healthy, mature, communicative young men in the future. So I'm really concerned that that's not happening. What I'm understanding is that yes, this is 100% a pew access to pew problem, but as a culture, we are raising violent human beings. The overexposure and glorification of violence in our households has to stop. You have got to get a hold of what we are showing, teaching, exposing our children to, and being better, more present parents, because this is a problem in white households. So if we are white parents, we have to do something about it.
Mental health is not the motive, it is the cover. For white men, this mental health excuse is just a narrative that acts as protection from scrutiny specifically about their identity, and their identity being white, cis, straight men, also most often Christian in some way. Like, if we were to actually apply the identity politics that we do to marginalized folks, to white men in these situations, we would have to question everything. All of our structures, all of the people in power, all of our leadership, all of the white supremacist patriarchal bullshit that we all live by. We would have to, right? So we have to pathologize this person as just one crazy person, one lone wolf, blah, blah, blah. Surely couldn't be his identity, because if we were to recognize that, we would have to acknowledge that he is protecting and reinforcing the systems of oppression and white supremacy and patriarchy and colonization bullshit. That is exactly what MAGA means when they say, make America great again. Like, take us back to that. And it is a perceived threat, and very heavy on the perceived part, because how are you being oppressed by the people who are you in power that are actually oppressing other people? Like, this is a fantasy land here. You are fine, dude. For the people who are genuinely and actually oppressed and marginalized, this is survival in the face of harm, and sometimes that results in harm. Like, that is human. That is a part of what we see all the time. When you poke someone to the extent that you do, you're gonna probably face some sort of reaction, right? Equal and opposite, dare I say. On the other hand, for white dudes, we have just privilege, so much privilege, and the perceived threat of that privilege being taken away. So we have entitlement, and then we have this like future grievance or current grievance because they feel, I guess, they are not awarded what they were entitled to. And so they feel they can take the lives of whoever around them for whatever reason because of them and their identity, right? So this is really what identity politics is looking like. It's like we're so close. If your identity is the reason why you have experienced harm systemically, systematically, like all of the oppression and stuff, that's the reason we give for why you lost your shit and like did a mass violence moment thing. But if you're a white guy, then your identity just has nothing to do with it because it's just the default. You just, I guess, get a pass. Mental health has nothing to do with this. Like, that's just what they're gonna do to pathologize an individual so that they don't have to include this person in whiteness and patriarchy and, like, you know, the reasons why white cis men should continue to stay in power even though they are the ones that commit the most violence and are the ones that do this all the time. But their identity couldn't have anything to do with it.
There was a time in my life when I thought that gun reform was the answer to ending the mass that is a huge problem in America. And then I thought, you know what? Prohibition has never worked in this country since alcohol prohibition, since telling doctors they can no longer write pain medication to patients, and so then patients now go and get fentanyl off the street or buy something that seems to be actually even worse at a gas station. Well, I do still feel like some 20-year-old probably doesn't need a machine. I do think that that is not going to get rid of the problem. So then there was a time where I thought it's a mental health crisis, right? And I think we can all agree that these people do have mental health problems and that our country does have a mental health problem in general. Forgive me if you've seen this on the news, but I was listening to TV the other day when this recent one happened at the Catholic school in Minneapolis, and one of them brought up loneliness. You hear about the male loneliness epidemic, and ever since COVID, people are less connected. And again, something that probably does factor into some of these situations. But what I don't hear people talking about is the demographic of the people who commit these crimes. And of course there have been exceptions, but the vast majority of the people glorifying Columbine and taking part in these atrocities, young white males who usually fit the description of someone that would be categorized as an incel or involuntarily celibate. And again, I'm not like discovering this issue for the first time. I just don't think it's talked about enough that white men are the problem. They are in so many places and scenarios, but specifically white men who aren't reaping the benefits of a society that is designed for them to succeed and be happy and flourish above everyone else, to be the breadwinners, the winners, the top of the food chain in America. And when some of those men are not given women and money and power and success on a silver platter as they've been promised, the unspoken promise that is painted in every picture around them, they get angry. They get angry at women. They get angry at Black people. They take it out on children to get the most attention that they possibly can and have their name uttered because they are nobodies and they will never have the charisma to be who they so desperately believe that they were born and entitled to be. So when we teach young men no is a complete sentence and that they aren't entitled to everyone and everything in the world and that they need to humble themselves and work for things and accept that they may not get everything they want, instead of telling them that they deserve everything for doing little to no work other than just existing in the body that they just got so lucky to be born in. We are reinforcing life-saving values. These conversations we have about consent and equity and equality aren't just pointless conversations pushed by radical liberals and woke people. Over time, these ideals and these conversations could save the life of a child or an innocent person in general from an incel who thinks they have not been awarded what they were put on this earth to have.
Just finished a morning run, sweating bullets, but I have to say this while I'm thinking about it. Almost every week, I see someone ask the question, why are white men so angry? And while I cannot begin to expound on the many reasons why that might be, what I can say is this: I view all social problems through a lens of societal systems, because as a sociologist, that's what I'm trained to do. And here is the design flaw
in systems of privilege, when you build systems of hierarchy and privilege. When you build systems of hierarchy and privilege, the privilege is actually what weakens you. The privilege makes you weak because when you socialize an entire group of people to believe that I exist, therefore I deserve. I exist, therefore I am entitled. I exist, therefore the path of prosperity should be laid out very cleanly ahead of me, and I don't have to work hard, and I don't have to struggle, and I don't have to dig deep. I just have to receive. Meanwhile, you are socializing all other groups to survive with less resources, with less privilege. And so as a byproduct of their survival, they are becoming adaptable, resilient, creative, resourceful. They are developing the muscle for survival that they subsequently turn into systems for success and prosperity. Meanwhile, the privileged group is not developing these systems. And when they start to see the disenfranchised group becoming stronger, gaining opportunities, building systems of success, rather than say, hey, maybe we ought to be doing that too, no. Privilege doubles down. Privilege digs deep into the well of anger and grievance and says, you are the reason why I can't be successful. You are taking opportunities away from me and my children and generations. And so now, rather than develop the muscle of resilience, what I'm going to do now is start taking privileges away from you. And now I'm going to start taking your resources. And now I'm going to start burning your house down in hopes that you will get back to where I think you ought to be, which is underneath me. Not realizing that the more you do that, the more privileges you take away, the more systems of success you try to dismantle, you are only making them more creative, more adaptable, more resilient, and more resourceful. So it becomes this Ouroboros, this snake eating its own tail, because the very system that you designed to uplift yourself is actually the one that is putting you far behind, because you never develop the muscle, the work ethic, the resilience, the innovation, and the creativity as the disenfranchised group.
White people. If crime statistics really mattered to us, we would be talking about white men every damn day. We as white people love to throw around statistics when it comes to the black community. We love to misconstrue data about poverty rates, crime rates, single-parent households. Here's the thing. If you really want to talk about problematic behavior in terms of statistics, we need to talk about white men. Most mass shootings in America? White men. School shootings? White men. Intimate partner violence, typically known as domestic violence? White men. Police brutality and systemic violence? White men. Online harassment and extremism? White men. Domestic terrorism? White men. Serial killers? White men. The demographic making up the vast majority of CEOs, judges, senators, and police chiefs who refuse to hold white men responsible? White men. And yet us white men are really talked about as being a problem. Few white people are asking, what's wrong with white men? What's wrong with the culture? Few white men are demanding that we be fixed. And why? Because we as white men humanize and individualize white violent offenders. And it's time to flip the script. To shame and blame, because I know white males are incredibly fragile when it comes to that, but instead to name what's really going on and who continues to be protected and not held accountable because of selective storytelling. I hope this helps.
Amazingly, the level of crime, and there's some crime that are actually peculiar with white folks, and that is what we've just seen, right? When it comes to, I don't want to mention it because I want to maintain good words, good, go with the guideline of this community. But like we've watched, what could be the reason for that? They have better privilege, they have better opportunity, they have access to loan and grants that other ethnicities do not have access to. So what could form the basis upon which they are doing all that they are doing? And what could be the reason why they are not happy, they are miserable? Some are saying because of the foundations they are past, how whiteness was built upon and to be seen as a superior to everybody. People are saying all sort of things, but I believe strongly that there's more to it. There are a lot of things that are happening to the average white man on the street. I don't want to sympathize because every human is human, and blood is flowing in their vein. And I believe that every man, woman, old or young, needs love. And this is why I'm concerned, because I feel strongly that some of the things that are happening in this administration could also be part of it, because it looks like everything has always been built around white privilege, white folks having the best, having access to everything. Everything is done for them, is done around them. And there comes a season whereby government is saying, I don't care about the grant opportunity, what have you, Medicaid, opportunity, just name it, just name it. And it's saying that I'm cutting off all of those grants, all of those opportunities. I'm cutting it off. Let everybody go and work if you are 18 and above. I'm, you know, so I feel that could be part of it, but I may be wrong. But hey, from what people are saying in the video, people are saying it has always been a facade, a lie, a whitewashed, scenario, narrative that has been built, and they've been writing on it, only to find out in the real world that those things are not real. Some of them have come to a realization that these black folks that you're talking about, they are one of the best people. And when it comes to field one-on-one interaction, the black folks are always winning. And it could lead to frustration, because some of them, right from when we were young, were told a lot of stories about the black people. They were not true. And when they come into the real world and they interact with the fellow black folks, and they say, this guy is intelligent, he's brilliant. As a matter of fact, it's more brilliant than him. And it's like, this guy's giving me the tough time. What is happening? So it could lead to frustration. It could lead to them it makes them to not want to open up again, to not want to associate. And of course, before you know it, when silence become the order of the day for a man that has been very joyous, that's very, very vocal, very outspoken and all that, it begins to nurse things in his heart. And from there, frustration sets in. And from there, it begins to nurse some things. Some of the crimes that are happening right now in America could be out of that, because out of bottled up frustrations, bottled up things. But hey, this is the balance. An average black person all over the world has gone through even worse situations, and people are saying it's not enough. But hey, you can't judge people by another person. We are all wired in different ways, in different capacity. What I can take, you may not be able to take. What you can take, that person may not be able to take. So at their own level, it may be more than enough for them to bottle up. And that is why they burst out in reactions that are unpredictable, unexpected. You see a white man just ranting on the person and say, shut up. They were like, why should I shut up? For what? What have I done? It is out of frustration. A lot of things are happening. And many people are saying it is born out of the past, out of the system that has been built for whiteness, for white privilege. They have always enjoyed stuff. And now everything has been cut off. Everything is not real. In the real world, they see that it's actually different. Could this be the reason why they are behaving that way? Could this be the reason why they are frustrated? These are the questions many people are asking, and many people are saying all sort of things like we have watched. But I'm asking, could it be the reason, or there are other reasons, or they just want to perpetrate evil in disguise and be saying this and this are the reasons? Guys, let me know what your take is. What's your view? Have you experienced that? Or you are a white folk and you believe that, oh, this is not what it is. This is what it is. Whatever your view is, let's hear it. Come on, let's share it. Let the conversation begin. And of course, if you have friends that have gone through one or two things, or one or two experiences like this, come on, let's talk about it. Let the conversation begin. But this is what I want to say. For every white guy, every woman, every young, we love you. We want you to know that there's a human, there's a breed of people that actually love you, and that your problem is not outrightly peculiar to you alone. If you can open up and share it, it might be half solved. So please, don't be miserable. Don't be silent to yourself. Learn to share. Learn to share whatever you're going through, so that it will not lead to frustration and other devices that are not good to yourself and of course to humanity. Thank you guys for watching. And this video goes out to every woman that is going through a lot of things. We want to tell you that you're not alone. We want to share your burden. Let it out. Share with everybody. And you'll be surprised at the healing that will come after. I love you guys. Don't forget, stay in peace, stay in love, and avoid trouble. Bye bye.